Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Maya with Simply Bloom. So it is nearing the end of July. I have a bunch of watering to do, but I thought I would run out and do a quick garden tour for you today. We are approaching another heat wave for northern Minnesota. I'm not going to say what it is because if you're from Florida or California, you would probably scoff at what I think is hot. But that's okay because come winter time, I got the cold covered. Okay. So like I said, we went through kind of a heat wave. I don't have irrigation, so that means I've been watering for literal hours every single day, which leaves the usual garden maintenance, deadheading, weeding, that's slacking a little bit. So just know when you see some of my flower beds, they are less than perfect and where I'd want them to be. I know there's no such thing as perfect, but they could be better. Also, I feel like I've said this in every video, but our lawnmower is still broken, so that's the long grass. So, but it's giving it a very like soft, cottagey vibe. That's what we're going with. Okay, let's get started. Starting off in my teardrop, because at this point it's just tradition. My driveway goes all around the inside island. It's shaped like a tear, so we call it the teardrop. Right here is one of my favorite trees. This is a red splendor flowering crab. Gorgeous blooms in the spring, and here you can see the little crab apples are starting to form. This tree is the one that holds on to its berries. It does not drop these, so it does not make a mess, which I love, and it is gorgeous all year long. My whiskey barrels are they're starting to look a little bit tired. They've dried out a couple times. These are the Easy Wave petunias, and for the price, I think they're fabulous. No, they are not the proven winners bubblegum wave petunia, but they do pretty well. But I notice around this time of year, they start to look tired. They probably benefit from a cutback. And in the center, I have these, I love these as centerpieces, the lemon cypress. So beautiful. They've struggled a little bit. Normally they got like 3 feet tall by this time last year. You can see they're not 3 feet tall this time, but they're getting there, they're growing. So here is a flower bed that I put in last summer. We have some beautiful Monarda. And then I have 2 Veronica on either side. This is the Magic Show Ever After. I'm not sure what happened to this one. Half that plant looks like it died, but this one is gorgeous. I have some beautiful tiger lilies. I know I had some people asking me for what this variety was. As far as I know, it just said tiger lily. I got it from those like multi-packs at Home Depot. They had 8 bulbs in a pack. I just planted them up. And here they are. So I don't know if they actually have a variety name. It just said tiger lilies on the package. Here's the Ritro Echinops, just about to bloom. Well, it is like the bloom is there. It just needs to color up, and it will get like this electric blue, which I think will be really pretty. If it gets there in time, I think it'd be really pretty with the peachy apricot of the tiger lily. Here is a hardy mum. Typically they would not be blooming, but I did just plant this one. It is a mammoth lavender variety. And then I kind of repeated things over here as well. So you see another Monarda or bee balm, and then the Ever After Veronica, which is absolutely beautiful, paired with the tiger lily. I have a foxglove. My echinaceas are just starting to bloom, which I love so much. There's my rock garden. If you know, my dog was chasing a chipmunk. This whole space right here is filled in so beautifully with the sedum. There was a blue spruce sedum and then a different ground cover sedum. My dog just ripped it up. All of that was thrown on the ground. I just picked it off the ground and just kind of set it right on top of the dirt, and it looks like it's rooting in, which I'm very excited for. There's a silver mound. And then on either side of my maple, yes, I still have Christmas lights on this maple. Oh my gosh, at this point, they're just staying until winter because We're almost there. So I have 2 ragworts. This is the Desdemona, or Legaria Desdemona. I love it. It looks like lily pads on land, and they get these beautiful yellow flowers. But I love that. Everything is kind of like wispy foliage over here, and then we just have this boom, bold leaf. Love it. My fountain, it is a fountain, but the foundation sunk, so it's no longer level. You can see I use it for storage for all my garden tags, but it's pretty. At this point, it's just kind of like a focal piece, a statue, not really using it for a fountain at this point. And I have 6 hydrangea standards stretching all along the driveway. I have 4 phantom hydrangea standards and 2 limelights, and the rototiller that's just been chilling there, but they are all budded up. So I'm getting very excited. That's going to be glorious, absolutely beautiful show. Excuse the buckets. I'm in the middle of a bunch of projects everywhere. I've been weeding along the edge of the driveway. You can kind of see where I've done. There's still some weeds. I was just trying to get the bulk of it, and then I have to continue. But over here again, I have some more. There's 3 more hydrangea standards there. Another 3 on this side. Now all those white flowers, those twinkly white flowers, they're weeds. They are. I'm going to do the no dig, no till method all the way back behind the hydrangea standards, and we were mowing around the standards, but then we stopped, and then all these twinkly lighted weeds came up, and it looks quite pretty actually. But that's the plan for someday. I have kind of this cottage garden along the driveway. We have some daylilies on either side. I had Globemaster, and the seed pods look so cool. I left them up, but I will probably cut those back because they're starting to look tired. Very tired. This is the Jacob Klein bee balm. I'm not a huge fan of this bee balm. It spreads like a wildfire, and it takes off and spreads, and it looks a little crazy, a little bit messy, but it does add a lot of color. So currently I'm leaving it, but I would like to replace it with something not as crazy. I want to still keep the bee balm, just a different variety. Here's a Asiatic lily. That's really pretty. My balloon flowers are just starting. Look at that. So they form these little balloons. That's the name, balloon flower. And then they open into these beautiful, beautiful white flowers. They're really, really pretty. Blue diamond, blue spruce. It adds this most beautiful silvery color all year long. And I absolutely love it in the wintertime against the snow. It's gorgeous. I'm trying to get better at like being more continuous with my garden tours, so you can kind of see where everything is and how it's laid out. So we're trying to get better. So right across from the teardrop this way, I have another little area. So that's a bunch of sheep compost that we got from a friend of ours, and in like a month or a couple months, end of September, once we have our first frost, we're gonna get a bobcat, and that's gonna go in the garden. Until then, we need to get a tarp to cover it so we stop the weeds. But over here, please, again, the tall grass, the weeds. But this is a rock garden, probably one of my favorite spots in the garden. Silver mound, we have some creeping jenny, lamium. This is the summer glory sedum, and it's just starting to bloom. It's beautiful pink. Absolutely love that. Coming along here, there's the Jacob's ladder. We have some heuchera. This is the wild berry heuchera. I think that's like a French fry hosta. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. I am the worst at names. There's just some hosta. Dark Side of the Moon astilbe is starting to bloom. Love that. I need to come in and limb up this maple and take off the bottom limbs because I want to see this multi-trunk going on. There's some Queen of Hearts Brunnera. I find it interesting how different those two look. Very different. Like this is more narrow leaves, more green. These leaves are more broad and just like punched with that silvery color. I wonder if they mixed up the varieties a little bit. Could one be like a Jack of Diamonds instead of the Queen of Hearts? Here is some just begonias that I planted. And if you guys don't know, begonias are like one of my favorite annuals of all times. I think they are highly underrated. You cannot go wrong with that waxy foliage and the beautiful pop of color in the leaves. I absolutely love it. And I just popped in some coleus. There's another Ligularia or Ragwort. I'm not sure the variety. And I have some lungwort there. Another begonia that I popped in that is absolutely beautiful. And speaking of begonias, look at this. This is a what is it called? Is this a dragon wing begonia? But I love it. This is like a classic watermelon pink flower with a waxy green leaf. I absolutely love it. This is just hanging on my shepherd's hook with my bird feeders. And since we're on the begonia kick, let me show you one more. So I have the swing on my front porch, and I put these hanging baskets there just to put them somewhere until I got a shepherd's hook set up for the baskets, and they've stayed there all summer long. Blooms do fall on the bench. That's my kids' little bug cage. They like to put creatures in that they find. But look, I mean, it looks like a little rose with this one, and then the other one has such beautiful, I love the two here. Love it. Okay, so just off my front porch here, I have an Amber Jubilee 9-bark. Now it is too big for this spot, so typically every other year we'll come back and whack it back, which I know is not recommended for 9-barks, but it really does look beautiful here, especially if it's kind of size control. I have underneath it, I have some Asiatic lilies, and I'm so sorry, I'm not sure what the varieties are. I planted this Monarda here. The weeds. As long as I'm here, let me just pull one. Okay. I planted this Monarda here, and you can see it's kind of past its bloom time now, but I want to move it because it had this beautiful purple color, but the purple color clashed so hard with this Asiatic lily, and then I also had this Asiatic lily here. I have a delphinium. Look at the blooms are beautiful. The outer margin is blue and the inside is like this beautiful deep purple. I don't know what happened with my delphiniums. I had them tied and staked and they all toppled over. I think the problem was my ties were too low. So like I tied it around the middle like that, and all of the blooms toppled over, which makes me really sad. Normally they're a bit more sturdy, but it looks really pretty with the Asiatic lilies. And then this is a new corner. I have a pink snake root there with some coleus, some chocolate chip ajuga, lamium, and I think this will be really pretty once it kind of fills in a little bit more. Those hostas will get big. They're like 3 to 4 feet wide. So I think that will fill in the space there really, really pretty. I have a table with some more plants that I need to plant. Another delphinium. This one stayed more upright. A barberry. I love barberries. It has these little berries right now, and then they turn this brilliant red color in the fall. So pretty. My other delphinium here toppled over. It's so sad. Oh my gosh. And then here's another pink Asiatic lily that's about to open and really color up nicely. It's kind of leaning on, I have a limelight hydrangea standard here, underplanted with lamium. In this corner, this is about to be glorious. This is all the Proven Winners Luminary Ultraviolet Phlox. You can see it's just starting to open. And then I have, last year I transplanted this Heliopsis behind it. So eventually this Heliopsis will fill in the whole thing, hopefully. So here is a corner I just did a video on. It's not finished. You can see in the video I explained I'm going to be taking out that sumac there. But I need to cut it out, and then I need to take loppers. Those are the sumac roots. That's how sumac spreads. It shoots up little suckers. So I need to take loppers and then just finish this bed. But here's a Rebecca Shasta daisy. I love this flower. Look at all the little ruffles on it. So beautiful. I got mulch on it, so that's why they look dirty. But so beautiful. There's a liatris just about to bloom. This Asiatic lily is gorgeous. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember that variety. And then popping over, we'll come over here. Again, the grass. And then I have a bag of mulch. Cardboard, because that's my future projects. My kids, it wasn't a neat pile. My kids ripped all the cardboard off because they were looking for snakes. They love just the little garter snakes that we have. Not poisonous here in Minnesota, but that just, please excuse that mess there. I love this flower bed here. It's really, really coming together really nicely. You can see I just planted this hydrangea standard there. I have the liatris blooming. This is a serendipity allium here. So pretty. The bee balm is just about finished blooming, but this is the rock and raspberry sugar buzz. That's the variety. The other one was sugar buzz, not gumdrop. I'm not sure where I got gumdrop. My kid's watering can. I do have a bunch of milkweed popping up. So you can see there's milkweed back there, and there were a couple milkweed here when I laid the cardboard and mulch down over top. But now it's just really trying to take over this bed, and just right over there we have a field, tons of milkweed over there. So I don't feel bad about removing this milkweed because the monarchs are well taken care of. I had a peony back here. I don't think that one made it. We'll see if it comes back in the spring. It just completely fried up after I planted it. There's another bee balm here. There's another barberry there, the gold pillar. This one is sterile, so I don't think it will get the berries like the other one. Here's some more Veronica. I think this is the Ever After as well, same with the other one. And this is a hardy hibiscus. The evening rose of the summerific. I don't know if I will actually get any blooms because we have such a short season, but look at this foliage. That foliage is worth it. Absolutely beautiful. Hopefully I'll get a bloom because they get these beautiful rosy pink blooms. I love it. Here is a false cypress. It struggled. It got really bad winter burn, and it's finally looking a little bit better, I think. We have a drift of back and black sedum. Here's Marvel Rose Salvia. I never cut it back, so you can see all the new blooms mixed with the old blooms. And here's some Goldstrom Rebecca that's just starting to bud up. That will look so pretty with the back and black sedums. Here's Autumn Fire sedum in front of this beautiful, this is a Bleeding Hearts Heliopsis. I love that dark foliage with the red center bloom around, surrounded by the yellow flowers. So beautiful. And then this is a oh so easy double red rose from Proven Winners. What's great about this is you do not have to deadhead. It will just keep blooming all season long. So on the back side of that fence, that's going to be our garden. I gardened in there 1 year, but what I really want to do is I want to turn it into like a raised bed garden, and I will show you a picture of what I would love to do someday. That will probably be in the far off future, but maybe in the next, I don't know, 3-4 years, I can work at getting that in place. It'll be the process though with doing like the foundation and gravel patio and then all the raised beds. It will be an investment for sure, but I think it will be really beautiful. Especially the older I get, the less I want to actually bend down and weed, and I feel like raised beds help with that weed suppression a little bit. And moving on down the fence, I need to fix the mulch in this area, but same, oh so easy, double red rose. I have some hardy geraniums that are kind of bloomed out. There's a beautiful phlox here. I can't remember the variety off the top of my head. It's from Proven Winners. I have another bleeding heart Heliopsis. I absolutely love those. I think they're so cool. And then behind that is this bed. And now this is a super colorful, bright bed. When I first started gardening, I thought I wanted all the pales, pinks, purples, just really soft, not neutral tones, but just very soft color palette. But my husband is partially colorblind. He can see some color a little bit, but unless it's like super bright, bold pops of color, they all blend together and it's hard for him to differentiate between the colors. So when I started gardening, he buys me a lot of my plants, and he gets a lot of the bright pops, bold colors, which I love so much now. Like the beds are so full of color, so full of just pops and brights and stuff like that, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, well, that's a little fun tidbit. That's how I broaden my horizon of color. Otherwise it would just all be pink, which is beautiful as well, but I really love the pops of bold color that my husband's got me. He had stretched me and now I love it. So I have some Nepeta that should get cut back, but I just, even when it's like this, the bees still love it. This is a Miracle on the Hudson Rose. Desperately needs to get deadheaded. But you can see beautiful red petals with that deep green leaves. I had 2 delphiniums are pretty much bloomed out. There's a blue one back there and a white one. This clematis, oh my goodness, I cannot remember the variety. It has literally bloomed all season long. It blooms on old wood and new wood, I'm thinking. Whatever group that is that blooms on both new and old. But beautiful clematis, absolutely love it. Here's a beautiful Asiatic lily. Here's a Joe Pye weed that's just about to bloom. Some coneflowers. I'm not sure what the variety is. I can't remember. I started these by seed, and these, you can see the petals really are downward pointing, and then it gets these little tufts in the cone. Very pretty. Here's a dark side of the moon astilbe. Some Goldstrom rudbeckia. I planted 3 here. The first 2 are blooming, and the last one, it doesn't get as much sun, and there's like no blooms on that one. Here's a beautiful ajuga with a bellflower. I can't remember exactly the variety, but that's a really pretty, precious little bells. I am very sad about my roses. So excuse this black plastic. It's off the house. I don't know if I should just rip it off, cut it off, get rid of it. I don't know what to do. But this is a Queen of Sweden rose, and I am heartbroken over the rose. I don't know what insect did that to the leaves, but it makes me so sad. Again, it needs to get deadheaded. There's this one little limb here that has okay leaves. I'm hoping that will pull it through. Otherwise, it's like, how does that photosynthesize? It can't. If it can't photosynthesize, then it can't get food. So, I don't know. And then I have a Nepeta here. It's like this pink pink color. I have a couple bearded irises. I don't know what happened to my bearded irises. I have like only half of them bloomed this year, but I do have a clematis that I meant to train up the side of the lattice of the deck, and it just kind of mingled in here. So I need to somehow untangle this and get it up on a trellis. Okay, coming around the deck, I have this smoke bush. Now the smoke bushes, they completely died back for the most part, all the way to the ground. So you can see there's a bunch of dead growth. That's from last year. I should have cut it back when it was smaller, but considering it died pretty much all the way back to the ground, it's made up for it. I mean, it's 6 feet tall there. Here's the quick fire hydrangea. These are glorious this year. Honestly, I didn't cut off any of the dead blooms from last year. You can kind of see them poking out, but the blooms, this is like the best it's bloomed in a long time. It's tall, it's like 8 feet tall, and they smell incredible. The air is just perfumed. So this is like a lace top. It has those beautiful blooms. They're starting to turn pink, and they will continue to turn kind of like this deep mauvey red color. Here's a viburnum. I'm not a fan of it. It's the blue muffin viburnum. Here's a 9-bark. This 9-bark gets the mildew every single year, powdery mildew. So I would love to rip this 9-bark out and replace it with a variety that is a little bit more resistant to that powdery mildew. You can see that back there. And then this side of the stairs kind of repeats the process. 9-bark. This one looks a little bit better, but still gets that mildew. Viburnum. There's like a type of sumac. I think this is a sumac that is just going insane. It's growing underneath the deck, and we keep chopping it back, and this is how big it gets every single year. I mean, you see that? Look, that's like 12 feet tall. I don't know, but we need to figure out how to get rid of that for good. Another quick fire. Over here I have a type of rose. It's like a prairie rose. When I was pruning my roses, I don't know what happened. I completely spaced about this one. It's probably because I just had my baby. So I completely forgot to prune this one back. So there's a lot of dead. It doesn't look the greatest, but it is what it is. And then I have another false cypress kind of tucked in there. I love to use those for arrangements. A smoke bush, again, this one died back all the way to the ground. It's not quite as tall as the other one is, but very, very pretty. An amber jubilee 9-bark. It gets these beautiful seeds that I love to use for arrangements. Another quick fire hydrangea. Can you tell that I like them? No, my husband actually planted these. He did all this landscaping around this deck before we got married. So good. Kudos to you, hubby. And here's this another amber jubilee 9-bark. It kind of got choked out a little bit by the quick fire, but I love it because it will just kind of randomly stick out and add a little pop of color. This is the same sumac type thing that's on the other side of the deck. It's just absolutely aggressive, insane. Ugh. Here's an ornamental grass. I'm not a huge fan of this grass until the fall. Then it gets really pretty plumes. Otherwise it just kind of chills there. Here's a very pretty shade bed over here. I cannot for the life of me remember what these are. I don't know, but I love them and I want more. They have that beautiful textured leaf with the beautiful spike, yellow spike flowers. We have a bunch of hostas, Virginias. Here's a snake root. It's getting a little bloom bud starting. We have an astilbe, a bunch of hostas, another snake root, and another one of these that I absolutely love. So right behind that, along the garage here, is again just lots of color. Beautiful. There's a Jacob Klein, another beautiful clematis. Love that. liatris. Here's I think it's Firefly's yellow yarrow. No one else in my family really likes yarrow, but I love yarrow. Here's a butterfly blue pincushion flower. I did get a bloom on this variegated iris, and that was really, really pretty. There's Russian sage. This peony is all done. I'm leaving the seed pods on because how fun would it be to try to plant the seeds? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know. I probably won't do that. At first, for the moment, I thought I would. Here's a daylily, absolutely gorgeous. I don't remember the variety as well. And here's a dark reader hardy geranium. Gets these beautiful flowers. It's all bloomed out now, but it looked gorgeous. And then lots of repeat things over here. Daylily, geranium, Virginia. I think I'm going to move the Virginias along here because this is full sun. And the tag says that it can take full sun, but they keep wilting like no other. So I think in a partial sun situation would probably be better. Did I say Russian sage? Russian sage. There's some echinaceas. There is a little bellflower, campanula there. Some more yarrow. This liatris looks better than the other one. It's absolutely incredible. I love that. Echinacea, monarda. And here's an aster that is just covered in purple blooms in the fall. It's called a purple dome. I love it. And then coming back over here, this bed, I have lots of Asiatic lilies. This is a proudberry coralberry there. Some more lilies. Tall garden phlox. Here's a Weigelia. I tucked in some Patriot hostas in the back. And this is a monster limelight hydrangea standard. I never really show my containers on my deck in my tours. So here we are. I wintered these container dahlias over last winter and just dug them out, popped them in a box, kept them in the garage, and they came back beautifully. So here's another one of the dahlias that I wintered over, and they're massive. Oh my gosh. Like I planted them in containers with some other things and could have just done this only in the container. Here's a couple others. Again, wintered this dahlia over as well. Very pretty, I think. And we are back in the teardrop where we first started, but that is it for my July garden tour. I wish things looked a little bit different, but for the most part, it's looking pretty beautiful, I do have to say. So that is it for today. I hope you all have a great day. I'm gonna go get to watering, but I will see you next time. Bye.